I'll,
Okay.
I'll introduce. Okay, here we are live. Welcome to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, Sunday, August 30th. We're so happy you're here today. And with me this morning is Mark Stanton Welch. He's going to be our guest musician this morning. And we'll give you some more intro on Mark in just a minute. But first, before we do anything else, I just want to invite you to share this video with your friends on Facebook. We also are streaming live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. So if you have friends who aren't on Facebook, you can send them there and you can share it all later too. We've got an amazing service for you today. We've got Reverend Diann is giving our message today as Reverend Elizabeth continues her wonderful honeymoon. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Mark start us off. So take it away, Mark.
Well, thank you. Very good morning to all. Hope it's a magnificent one. When two or more are gathered in this frequency of love, we are amplified to reclaim divine. When two or more are gathered in this frequency of love, we are amplified to reclaim divine. And I am, you are me, to become we are all together in the light that blends the truth of us to unify the oneness that I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When two or more are gathered in this frequency of love, we are amplified to reclaim divine. When two or more are gathered in this frequency of love, we are amplified to reclaim divine. And I am, you are me, to become we are all together in the light that blends the truth of us to unify the oneness that I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And so true, when two or more together in love, we are one. Love your music, Mark, and welcome everyone. I'm Reverend Diann Davisson, the Assistant Minister at our Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. And as Gina mentioned, our Senior Minister, Reverend Elizabeth Raleigh Hogue, and her husband, Travis, our Music Director, is enjoying their honeymoon. And boy, the pictures they have sent over from Sedona are magical. Our physical location for the Central Coast for Spiritual Living in Templeton is not open at this time. However, I know we are all looking forward to getting back into our cute little church when it's safe for all of us. So I'm coming to you live from Los Osos, Gina from Paso Robles, Charlie from Atascadero, and Mark from Cambria. So, with open arms and open hearts, we welcome all of you to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living right here and right now. And that all we ask of you is to remain open to the possibility of changing your life. How can you do that? By changing our minds. And this service has been designed and especially made for you. Welcome home. So please take a moment, as Gina shared, to share this video on Facebook or start a watch party. Did you hear that, Terry? Share this with your friends because they will be so appreciative you did, as the message that I have, the music that we're sharing today, and the prayer and the reading will make a change in all of our lives. So let's read our affirmation today. Please repeat after me. Each individual life is a unique expression of the universal whole. Yes. No two lives can or ought to be alike. I embrace each person I meet as a blessing to my life and to the world. And so it is. Amen. And now Gina is going to introduce our musician.
Yeah, well, as you saw earlier, we had Mark start us off, and Mark is one of our favorite musicians around here. He's such beauty to bring to us. So I'm just going to read a quick bio for Mark. And Mark Stanton Welch is a singer, songwriter, performer, sound alchemist, vibrational healer, composer, spiritual mentor, facilitator of change, educator, and visionary. Wow, that's a lot. His inspirational music and activities are intended to be in alignment with the integrity of humankind. All of his creations support compassion, wholeness, personal spiritual evolution, and the manifestation of planetary oneness. So without further ado, we'll let Mark maybe do some of those things for us right now. Thanks, Mark.
Well, that's what happens when you write your own bio. You can say anything you want. But it didn't keep me from having a run-in with a cardboard box, a stairway, and gravity. So I'm sporting a little bit of a compromised right arm here. So my strumming ability has been a bit, it's going to be a little different, especially on an up-tempo song. So here we go. Everything's a reflection of me, including a little stumble. Everything that I see is a reflection of me, of the love I am inside. Everything that I see is a reflection of me. It's a truth I can't deny. And when I look into the world, I see the world I've made. My thoughts, words, actions have made it be that way. I really am connected to the one and everything. And when I choose to live this way, my heart and life, they sing. Everything I see is a reflection of me, of the love I am inside. Everything that I see is a reflection of me. It's a truth I can't deny. The beautiful, the challenges, they're born right here in me. And if I want to change it, I am the sacred key. I really am connected to the one and everything. And when I choose to live this way, my heart and life do sing. Unified within, forever flowing. In crazy times like these, I have a choice. The moment is my catapult for growing. I must set my intention through my voice and speak my vision into form. Everything that I see is a reflection. Everything I see is a reflection of me, of the love I am inside. Everything I see is a reflection of me. It's a truth I can't deny. I am the source creator, I manifest the form. I call the forces forward, the new life is reborn. I really am connected to the one and everything. And when I choose to live this way, my heart and life they sing. Everything that I see is a reflection of me, of the love I am inside. Yes, everything that I see is a reflection of me. That's a truth I can't deny.
That was beautiful, Mark. Thank you so much. We're so glad you're here with us.
Thank you. Me too.
And if you didn't mention your brace on your arm, probably none of us would have ever known that there was a problem.
I know, but I went through all the trouble to make it happen, so I thought it'd be good to have it visible.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you in a little bit. All right. So I am doubling up again. I am going to be the announcement angel and producer and trying to be the wizard of getting all these visuals for us today. So let's start off with our mission statement. So with everything we do, we aim to raise the vibe. We teach innovative spiritual practices and principles that inspire deeper love of self and others, transformation, a closer relationship with God, freedom from suffering, expansive joy, prosperity, and healing of the body, mind, and spirit. We are a conscious group of positive, inspired, spiritually motivated individuals transforming lives. You know, we just happen to have a spiritual center. Want to check us out? Yeah, that's what Travis would do. So I'm going to keep emulating Travis the best I can today. Okay, so right after this, join us for coffee and conversation on Zoom. It'll be directly after service, sometime around 11 or so. I'll provide the link in the comments section here, and you can also find it on our center page in the Coffee and Conversation event. We build our immunity in spiritual community, so remember to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. via Zoom for our spiritual check-in call. You can find the link on our Facebook page under events. And this is also a wonderful way to stay in touch during the week with your community. Sometimes we just have a question of the day, and we also deal with whatever's going on right now for you. So you can come in once or come in every other day and be part of this community. It's really great. We have one more Tuesday for the grief group session that Reverend Diann has been leading. And this has been a wonderful way also for people to come in, share what's on your heart. You know, there's many forms of grief. It's not just the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job, could be the loss of just our way of life, which we are all experiencing some form of grief these days. And it's okay if you have not been to any of the other ones in this session. You could just join us this Tuesday, but please email us and at info@cccSL.org and just let us know that you'll be joining in so we could get you a link for that. Uh-oh, there's my picture. That means next Sunday, I'm going to be the guest speaker. I'm really excited about it. And I'm also excited that Laura Berman's going to be supporting us in the musical aspect of that. So please join me and the rest of our wonderful community. I'm very excited about this opportunity to be able to speak to everyone. Also, we do have our YouTube channel, so please subscribe. So it's youtube.com, Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, where we have all of our services that we've been broadcasting. It's really building up beautifully now. We've got a wonderful library of services. This is a great place to go check in and see previous services. Also, please share this with your friends. Like I said, you know, we all have a lot of friends that are not on Facebook, and so this is a wonderful place to share some of the messages that we have. And then lastly, if you are able to, please continue to donate to our center. We have been very blessed by all of you. by donating and supporting us, especially through our quarantine time and time of COVID and all this opportunity that we've had to share with you via Facebook and YouTube. We still have our center, like Reverend Diann said earlier. We have our beautiful center in Templeton, and we still have upkeep on it and a mortgage to pay, because we want to have it ready for us to walk back into, hopefully sooner than later. We also have the support of our wonderful ministers that we want to keep on staff. It's just been so helpful. Everyone's been so generous, and we just really want to say thank you. You can donate through PayPal. You can donate here on Facebook. You can send us a check if you would like, a personal check. And you can also go to our website, ccccsl.org, and you can donate there. So that, my friends, is our announcements. And now I'm going to bring Reverend Diann back in.
Thank you, Gina, so much. And you are awesome, a woman of infinite talent. So much appreciate all that you do. But this is a time that I would like you, and I'd like to invite you to send in your prayer requests. We're all experiencing something going on in our lives. This is a tender time for many of us. There's uncertainty in the future. There may be uncertainty around in our families. And so I'm going to invite you to send us your prayer requests. You can either do it through the email at info@ccccsl.org, or just give me a call. Pick up the phone. Call me on my cell phone, 714-273-9014. I'll repeat that, 714-273-9014. Myself and our prayer angels will pray over your prayer requests, and asking for help starts with you, because we're here to serve and to support you. So reach out to us. And now Charlie will share our reading of the Science of Mind.
Good morning. A little reading today from Ernest Holmes on friendship. There's something in the emotional experience of sympathy, of love, and of friendship, which if we did not enter into, we should miss it. Not only should we miss it, but we would not be complete without it. And if we will listen to the heartbeat of each other and humanity, we will hear the great rhythm of the universe resounding in us. The friends which our consciousness attracts to us belong to us. Through them, the infinite speaks a divine language. God in me means that there is one infinite person in all people, which unites them in the bonds of love and friendship. The person who loves others and has a feeling of friendship for them will always make friends, because the law of life is the law of action and reaction. If we seek friendship, we must affirm that God is in us, God is in everyone we shall meet, and we are already one with all the people in God. And then we must accept that, because this is true. Everyone is one with us in God. We wish to reap joy, happiness, love, friendship, health, harmony, and success. Could we expect to keep our mind filled with such thoughts for ourselves unless it were filled with similar thoughts for others? Of course not. We have a right to expect that what we wish for others will be returned to us through others. We have no right to expect that we can reap where we have not sown. We must not think of people as better or worse. All people are all right if we meet them in an all right way. We shall call out of every person whom we meet that which is like our objective, subjective acceptance of life. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Charlie. So at this time, I'd like to invite everybody to just join me in prayer. So wherever you are, wherever you're watching, please just take a nice deep breath in. Together, united, we take this breath of life. We just settle into our spaces. And we just acknowledge that there is one infinite spirit, one divine energy, one God, the thing itself, whatever it is that you wish to call your higher power or higher consciousness that personalizes it for you. Just think of that and know that together we are all connecting to that same source, that we are all unified by it, that this source has divine power. And the most powerful thing of all is love and connectivity. And that we are manifestations of this love, that we are God's idea or Spirit's idea of what it would like to experience here on this planet at this time. And we are all absolutely unique, even though we are all connected and all from the same source and have all these same qualities within us. We are all unique. And that is the beauty of being on the planet. Just as the birds and the trees and the ocean and all the fish, every living being, every inanimate object, although they may seem similar, they are all extremely unique and have their own way of expressing. And so we just embrace not only our own uniqueness, but the uniqueness of others. And even though we might not agree with or feel that, these other people or other objects are expressing in ways that we would like, we still know the truth, the higher truth, that we are one, we are created from love, and we are all connected. So we are just so grateful for this opportunity today for Reverend Diann to speak words that only we can hear personally, that each one of us has something that we are going to hear today in this moment, in this message, that reminds us of the unification of all of us. And we are so blessed to have that. We are so grateful to live on a planet where we can grow and learn and see such beauty in others and in each other and in ourselves. And so with that, I just release these words knowing that this significant message is a blessing for us, and it is Spirit that is driving it. So we allow it to be, we allow it to permeate our soul, and together we just say, and so it is.
It is. And so it is. That was magnificent. Yay. Living on the earth, we are one family. Creatures of the earth, we are one family. I am in the rocks, I'm in the leaves, I'm in the water, in the sky, and they are all right here in me. One family, one family, one family, one family. And listen to the wind as it sings of the circle of the living. And listen to the eagle as it cries from the heart of us all. And listen to the rocks and the messages these ancient ones are giving. And listen to the sound that comes rising from the mother as she calls. Hi, 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 oh. Hi, 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 oh. One family, one family, one family, one family. One family, one family, one family. Oh.
Beautiful, Mark, beautiful. And your song is so spot on for my message today because we
Amen.
are family. We're a global
Yes.
family. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Gina, your prayer just touched my heart, just touched my heart. Thank you so much. So today we are at the end of August. Summer is almost over. The kids are back to school, or are they? I'm not sure. I know when I was a kid, we always went back to school after Labor Day. That was our last weekend of freedom. And what a summer this has been, hasn't it? The pandemic, the fires, the Black Lives Matters demonstration for justice. We have really packed it in. So we've got a lot to talk about today. And our theme for the month of August has been inclusion in action. And the first week, Reverend Elizabeth talked about let's get together and feel better. Because don't we all feel better when we're with community, we're with family, we're part of a team, and being with our grandkids? And that has changed for us. And many of us may be feeling a collective grief as we're having to do things different. The plans that we had for this summer didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. We are now having to connect on Zoom or 6 feet apart. We've had to reimagine and reinvent how we can be together. And change for many of us is not easy. We like to know and plan what's going to happen. That makes us feel comfortable. It makes us feel safe to know what to expect. Boy, so many changes. And in working with our theme of let's get together and feel better is an opening to explore our central spiritual principle of oneness, of inclusion. And this is a core of our Science of Mind teaching. And I know that sounds all good, love each other, we're one big family, and the intentions are really good. But have you ever felt excluded, not part of a group? Of course, all of us have. And you know what? That does not feel good, does it? No. Well, one of the definitions of oneness in Science of Mind, it is one infinite reality. We call it many names. In fact, in the Science of Mind textbook, there's over 100 names for that infinite reality. We call it the one, the divine, the mystery, the great spirit, Allah, God, Goddess, and so many more. And all of that comes from the oneness. This oneness creates everything out of itself. There is only one. And as we like to say, God is all there is. So our spiritual principles helps us to understand the way we engage and co-create in our lives. It is a fundamental truth. And when we work with principles, we are working with laws. Just like the laws we see in gravity and electricity or mixing of colors, we don't see how they work, but we see the effects of how they work. And these laws are unchangeable, they're impersonal, and they work the same for all. Our spiritual practices teach us how to then apply these spiritual principles in our life. So working with the spiritual principle of oneness, which is inclusion for all, one of the methods that we use to practice oneness is to be grateful, to be compassionate for ourselves and others. And being mindful is another practice that we can use in that spiritual principle of oneness. We teach in Science of Mind that all life breathes together. We co-create together, and what I do to one person, I do to everyone. Every choice that we make can either help heal the world or divide it. And so the principle of oneness is to see and honor and respect that unique expression of all of life, like Gina said so beautifully in her opening prayer. And then in week number 2, Reverend Elizabeth talked about who are we? Or I might say, who am I? And we carry many identities, don't we? I know I'm a wife, I'm an auntie, a real estate broker, a business owner, I'm a minister, I'm a chaplain, I'm a pickleball player, and I have dyslexia. However, these are my outer qualities. What we want to know here is, who are you inside, your inner qualities? As our outer qualities can change at a heartbeat. However, those inner qualities, our character, our values, just like those spiritual, universal spiritual principles, we individualize those within ourselves, and those are changeless. So we want to know what's in your heart, what's in my heart, not what's in your pocketbook, what kind of car you drive, or where you live. And this is how we can be seen by others, is our truly authentic self. And this is the truth of our being, and it makes us feel good. There's a quote by Howard Thurman, who was an African American minister, an educator, and a civil rights mentor to Martin Luther King. And I love this quote. And he says, "There is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself." And that's that authentic self, that sincerity of emotions and actions. It is the only true guide you will ever have. And if we cannot hear it, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else is pulling. So instead of asking, who are you? Who am I? I'm asking, who's pulling our strings? Is it the strings of false belief about yourself? Is it the strings of the TV news, of fear, suspicion, anxiousness, of lack and limitation, of nervousness? Is Debbie Downer pulling your strings, or that critical Carol, or that bully Bob? Or is it the divine God, love, compassion, peace, understanding, freedom, abundance, liberation, oneness? Our lives is an outpicturing of who is pulling our strings. So our practice is to always go back, look inside, where we know that we are whole, perfect, and complete in God. This is our creator. And when we come back to those inner connections with the divine, we know where to go. This is our inner compass. When we know this truth within ourselves, the outer part that pulls us become like clouds moving in the sky, and we just say goodbye. Then we went into week number 3, where Reverend Elizabeth talked about colorblind or colorful. And I know for myself, many, many, many years ago, I thought it was very spiritual to say, oh, I'm colorblind, we're all the same. And that is so not true, what I learned. And I'm so grateful that I moved beyond that thinking. Because if we don't see color or differences in each other, we are not seeing everyone. We are not practicing the principle of oneness of life, because oneness includes all. Not just the people that we like, but most importantly, the ones that, I'm not sure, I don't feel too comfortable, they're not like me, they're different. And I think about when I was younger, my goal, and many of our goals, was to be able to see the world. I remember working really hard to save money because I wanted to go to exotic countries and to see how different cultures were, different foods, different people, geography. And I think that our souls yearns for something different in ourselves. And most of us, I think all of us, always come back with these amazing stories, how we were able to connect with these different people, different cultures, even people that may not even think or believe the same things that we did. And the reason we do that is because it expands our minds, our hearts, and we like variety. Diversity is what makes the world a beautiful place, just like a tapestry. If it was all one color, it would be kind of boring after a while. Just like if I was to eat the same peanut butter and jelly sandwich each and every day. We need variety. This is what makes life interesting. And the same is for all differences. I remember back in, 1993, there was a very hot issue going on in Orange County where one of the first high schools in Orange County wanted to start a gay support group in their high school. And it was met with such strong anti-gay protests at school. In fact, one day, 150 students were holding cardboard signs up saying, "Gays go home." And so they held a public meeting at the district office to debate the future of gay support groups it was Fountain Valley High School. And the newspaper reported a volatile crowd of over 200 students, parents, and the religious right who jammed into this meeting. And I was a tad late coming from another meeting, and the people were standing up around the walls. It was packed. I couldn't find a seat anywhere, but then I noticed one seat way over on the other side in that other group. So I went over there and I sat there, and I could not believe what I started to feel. I could feel, you know what? They're just like I am. They have fears of the unknown. They're not sure. This is something different for them. And in that moment, I found myself one with them. There was no longer the other and myself. And I could feel myself releasing these old thoughts as I connected to my heart, because we were in the same bucket together. Yes, different views. And I think this is what we're experiencing in our country. We're seeing very strong and different sides and different views. But we have to be respectful and kind. There will always be fringe groups. And you know what? They are part of the whole too. When we can do this, when we can practice these spiritual principles of oneness, we can still disagree, but we don't have to hate. And these changes start with one person at a time, and it starts with me. So last week, our theme was Better Together, Building Community. And Reverend Sharon Dunn was our guest minister. And boy, what a warm heart she had. I could just feel it through the computer screen. She exuded this love and tenderness. And one of the pearls of wisdom that I took away from her talk was that she invited us to be gentle with ourselves. To be gentle with ourselves. Because as we are gentle with ourselves, then we're able to be gentle with others. As we come from our overflow, this is what we want to share with others. And when I think of this theme, Better Together, Building Community, I think of the children, because I believe they are so connected to that intuitiveness within them. They know that they are living heaven on earth right now. And yes, we have it too. But sometimes over the years, it gets a little blocked for us. And I remember when little Brody was maybe 2.5 and 3 years old, going with him and his mommy to the playground. And I saw him going up to these other little strangers saying, "Hi, friend. Hi, friend," with a little wave. And you could see the immediate response in these young faces. They would have this smile. There would be a twinkle in their eyes as they lit up. And they welcomed their new friend. And off they went to play together. This is the practice of inclusion in action, as we can welcome everyone as a friend. There is an article in the Washington Post that wrote about studies showing how our interactions with strangers is soul satisfying, whether it's at the supermarket or walking our dog. This energy does something within ourselves that makes us feel good inside. Yes. And so today comes to our topic, we are. And I think of that song, We Are Family, just like Mark sang a little bit earlier. And so to wrap up our series of inclusion in action for the month of August, we may be asking ourselves, well, how do I practice this principle of inclusion and oneness more fully in my life? And the answer is by knowing ourselves first, being aware of our thoughts, looking at our beliefs, self-observations, what pushes my buttons. And for one day, just notice your strong reaction. Sometimes it's so automatic, we just react without even thinking. And it is also taking the time to look at those unconscious biases that we were born into. In the practice of mindfulness and being aware, it will lead us in that road of connecting our oneness, our wholeness within ourselves and with others. And, you know, if we can't welcome others, then how are we going to know ourselves? And for some of us, what blocks us from this principle of inclusion is of the other is our fear strings being pulled. Fear of the unknown. There's only so much. There won't be enough for me. I want my piece of pie. And this is all a projection within us onto the outer. And guess what? There is no one out there. And there is enough for all of us. This is exactly what we teach in our teachings of Science of Mind. Our supply and source is unlimited. It is infinite. There's always enough. Just like the story of the loaves and fishes in the Bible, we will all be fed. And when we know that authentic, genuine self within each of us, there is no fear of the others. It is diminished. It's not there. Martin Luther King, 57 years ago, the other day, 2 days ago, made his famous speech, I had a dream. However, the quote that I also love is when he said, I do not fear any person because I know who I am. He knew that God was pulling his strings, not the outside condition. And we will never maybe feel safe like Martin Luther King until we know ourselves in spirit, in love, in our hearts, to be able to stand proud of who we are, embracing all of those parts of us, the yin, that negative, the yang, the positive, seeing them not as separate, but as complementary opposites, all within the oneness and the wholeness of life. And yet during this time, we are acutely aware that our country is expressing itself in unrest with racial divisions and inequality. And our spiritual center has taken inclusion in action very seriously. And I'm so proud of Reverend Elizabeth. She moved quickly into action and started a book study when the Black Lives Movement demonstration started. And we used the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And I want to let you know that I wasn't planning on taking this book study. I didn't have any desire to participate because I felt like I did not need that. I worked in the hospital in the greater Los Angeles area. It was very diverse. I even taught African Americans and African ministers and priests how to be chaplains. However, my inner conversation with myself was telling me and showing me something different, that I had resistance to taking this study, this book study. And that was my clue, our resistance. My button was being pushed. So yes, I took the class, I read the book, my eyes were open, and what a growth experience it was for me. And through our book study, I discovered that statements I have made in the past and what I've heard others make at first blush seemed reasonable. But the author tells us that statements that she calls colorblind statements, such as, I was taught to treat everyone the same, or Race doesn't have any meaning to me. I live in San Luis Obispo. We have no race issues here. My parents were or were not racist, so that's why I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I'm from Canada. Or what the author tells us are color celebrate terms, such as, I work in a very diverse environment. I was in the military. I've been to Africa. I marched in the 60s. Our grandchildren are multicultural, racial. Rather, if these statements are colorblind statements or colored celebrate, it all shows that these claims end up functioning all the same way. They exempt the person, me, from taking responsibility for or any participation in the problem. It takes race off the table. We close the book rather than further exploration or conversation, it stops. And in doing so, what we're doing is protecting the racial status quo. However, what I have noticed that the author never mentioned, nor have I heard other people talk about, what is the root of racism? And which I believe and know stems from the false teachings in the Bible, where people with an already predetermined agenda has twisted scripture to support their belief, to believe that they can have dominance over other people, they can have power over, they can control others, and to take advantage of other people. And it all stems from two biblical passages. And that's the curse and mark of Cain and the mark of Ham, both found in the book of Genesis. And these scriptures have been used by the Europeans to justify their colonization of Africa and Asia, and then it continued into the United States from the beginning of our colonization and slavery by the Protestants, the Southern Baptists, the Mormon Church, and the Southern Catholic Diocese to support and justify slavery and racism. Why? Because it said so in the Bible, believing it was the will of God. And after the Civil War, all of these main denominations, the Methodists, the Presbyterians, all separated. They separated. The Ku Klux Klan ideology is based on the curse and mark of Cain. And because of this wrongful interpretation, this race suggestion of racism has continued generation after generation after generation. And it is still operating in many people's belief, many of them not even aware where it came from. And there is nothing in those passages that state the reason people are Black was because of a curse or mark. Read it for yourself. And it has been proven that our skin color is simply based on the climatic conditions of where we live, not based on a Bible passage. This was even known and written by Aristotle in 335 before the Common Era. So, a few months ago, in our local newspaper in San Luis Obispo, our Sheriff Parkinson stated in the newspaper that he was not aware of any systemic racism in our county. And having just completed our book study, his statement stood out like a red flag. And both Terry and I were shocked at his statements, as this was a classic, unaware, closing the book statement on any racial claims, to keep it hidden underwater, to make people feel comfortable. And I have to share with you, I am so proud of Terry because she took it upon herself to write a handwritten note along with a copy of the book, marks in it and all, to the sheriff. And what Terry shared with me was at first her reaction was anger. How could he say something like that? But she really wanted to connect with him. And as I used to say in chaplaincy training, we have to get in their bucket if we want to connect. And what she did is she changed her attitude and got into his bucket. And let me share the letter that she wrote. Dear Sheriff Parkinson, I am certain that you want to be the best sheriff you can be for the citizens of San Luis Obispo County. I just attended a class and read a book entitled White Fragility about how we can be racist and not even be aware of our racism. I learned a lot from this book. I thought you might find some insights in it as well. I've included my copy of the book for you. Best of luck to you as you navigate these turbulent times. Terry Eslin. She wrote to him with love and kindness, pulling her strings. And then about 3 or 4 weeks ago, she received a card from the sheriff. This is a handwritten card. And it says, Dear Miss Eslin, thank you for taking the time to write me and sharing the book. I will certainly take the time to read it. I have been meeting with many people in the community to learn more and try to improve my knowledge and work toward improving our community. All the best, Diann Parkinson. This is inclusion in action. She got into his bucket and there was no defensiveness on either part. And I know some of us may be feeling kind of overwhelming right now. Well, what can we do? You know, I'm not into going to demonstrations. I don't want to do that. I just want, is everything so big? I just want to stay at my home where it's nice and safe. And it reminds me of the story of the starfish. And it's about this little boy walking along the beach where there's these thousands of starfish that are washed up there. And he was taking them one at a time and throwing them back into the water. And this man walks up to him and he says, Sonny, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm throwing these starfish back in the water because if I don't, before the tide changes and the sun comes up, they will all die. And the man said, well, there's thousands of them. You're not going to be able to save all of them. And the little boy picks up one, throws it back in the ocean. And he said, it made a difference to that one. Yes. So we can start with just doing one thing. Maybe smiling at a stranger, even if we have a mask on, our eyes can show that we're connecting. We can take someone to the doctors. Some people are painting those rocks and leaving them on hiking trails or at people's doorsteps. We also can practice not being defensive in our conversations. Even if we don't agree, we can listen. And maybe that starts with our own families, because this is what connects us. This is the practice of oneness for all. So, as we bring our theme of inclusion in action to a close this month, we are going to read a community proclamation affirming that we are a community of faith that affirms oneness and diversity for all. And this affirmation of community that we are going to be reading, it is being read by all the Centers for Spiritual Living throughout United States and in the world. And I know by saying this affirmation as a community, we are going to be sending our energy out, that vibration, because we will be making the change, a change that works for all, the good for all. So I'm going to light our candle. And I like this candle because as I light the candle, what we're doing is we're honoring that our inner light, because as we honor our inner light, we are able to honor the inner light in other people. And as we like to say, namaste. So let's read this together. We at Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique part of the divine that is in each person. And we advocate with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees holiness in all of life. We remain learners and listeners as we grow together, and understands that oneness is not the same as sameness. We are the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. Know that our beloved community is revealed when we love each other. Yes, and so it is. Amen. And so as we take this vibration, this energy of this beautiful affirmation, we bring it into our hearts. We feel it. We embody it. We know it. And we take that energy that's within us and we send it out into our families, into our cities, our community, into our state, and out into the world and beyond in the cosmos. Because this is who we are. We are a community that supports each other, that sees each other, and honors change, honors differences. And we know that this is the spiritual truth of oneness. And we are so blessed in our centers for spiritual living as we can truly, with our heart, with our passion, know that this is the truth for all. And so with a feeling of just being blessed today, being blessed by the prayer of Gina, the music of Mark, the reading of Charlie, and being blessed by all of you that are watching today, I am filled with gratitude. And I take my fullness and I share it out there. I share it in my words, I share it in my deeds, in my actions, and I share it for all. And it is inspiring. It lights my fire. I am passionate. And this is the place we want to come from. And so knowing that this is a truth not only for myself, and I unify it for everyone, I say thank you. And I release this prayer, my words, into the heart of love. And so it is. Amen.
This all may seem funny, it may be confusing, but we live as separate and we live as one, as unique expressions of infinite presence. In separate oneness we form the I Am. So let's dance in our beauty and make our own music and blend it together harmoniously. On separate journeys, let's meet in the moment and create our oneness, the great symphony. It all seems funny and it may be confusing, but we live as separate and we live as one, as unique expressions of infinite presence. In separate oneness we form the I Am. So let's dance in our beauty and make our own music and blend it together harmoniously. On separate journeys, let's meet in this moment and create through oneness our great symphony, and create through oneness our great symphony.
Wow, I love that, Mark. The great symphony of our oneness. Wow, that is just beautiful. That could have been the whole talk. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So this is the time we want to move into that time of our givingness, giving from our love, giving from our commitment to support each other. And so I'm going to invite you to take your offering in your hand or in your heart and repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Yes, yes. What a great morning this has been. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and sharing our video on Facebook. You'll see it on YouTube. But let's do this. Won't you know with me that you are never alone? That God is where you are right now and always. And all that we ever need to do is turn within. It is here we will find and we will be guided, sustained and directed and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously, let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, and all that we say, and all that we do. And so it is. So please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. And life is in my pocketbook. Life is in my relationships. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I express it. I accept it. Just the way it is. And just the way it is not. Thank you, life. And so it is. And thank you, everyone. Have a marvelous day.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, this has been terrific. Thank you, Reverend Diann. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there with us. We did have some screen images that did not come on, but we're going to post those that community statement because it really was wonderful. So I'm going to ask Mark to take us out, and we are actually going to get ready to go over to Zoom. Mark, you'll be able to join us, correct?
I sure will. I'm just going to get a cup of Joe and I'll be there.
Yeah, for a wonderful coffee and conversation. This is our fellowship opportunity. So, yeah, we'll see you over there, and we'll let Mark finish this out.
You and I are so connected, heart to heart, a golden thread. Through it we can feel, we feel the love, love, love. Through it we unite as one. You and I are so connected, heart to heart, a golden thread. Through it we can feel love, 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 and through it we unite as one. You and I are so connected, heart to heart, a golden thread. Through it we can feel, we feel the love, love, love. And through it we unite as one. Through it we unite as one.